Right, guys, so I'm going to talk about something which is important to the point. I was going to bed, but then it would come up on the Harvard Business Review, and then I thought, you know what, it's so important that I'm going to do a video and break my own rules. See, I've got a Alexa saying that quietly. At 10 p.m., I've got it to say, Matt, go to bed. And it does every day because it reminds me, shut down everything and go to bed. So this video is basically about being bored should be part of your life. You've removed it. See, I know myself, I'm as guilty because for years I couldn't watch TV shows because I'd sit there and thinking I should be doing something more productive and going to do it. But what you've got to understand is people have been wiring you to do more and more, and I'm as guilty as anybody for doing it. However, those days would be around stuff that needed done in the house, stuff I needed to do. So when I sit down, this is before mobile phones were, before everybody had a mobile phone. So the fact is, I wasn't wired to a phone. It wasn't doing the apps. It wasn't pinging every 2 minutes. It was literally people used it as a telephone. And normally for me, it was only on call outs because we didn't communicate that way from friends or wherever. We actually drove around there or walked around there or just met up in the pub, etc. See the difference? So being bored as part of life is something that used to be there. Yeah, where, for example, I'll be on the bus going to school and the rain's coming down, you sat there, your mind's either thinking, I'm still tired from last night, I'm going to have a nap for 20 minutes, or you're focusing on stuff you're going to do that day. Maybe I haven't done my homework as usual. The point being is your brain is in a more relaxed state. This is why in the morning, I've said this before, in the morning, I like to just get up, have a cup of coffee, do not a lot, then have another cup of coffee, then I start looking at what work I need to do that day. It's stepping up, going from a relaxed mode into a productive mode. But the point being is I just want to go through the realities that we're often facing is, even like from a work environment, I've got to admit the company I'm with now is very good, but I've had work environments where I get calls at 3 o'clock in the morning. I've had like constant ping, stuff that needs done for tomorrow, timescales that are all messed up because people can't organise their diary and it then flows onto mine. Many reasons that their lives impact my lives, which is why, Chris, I know one of the things that I say quite a lot is don't make your problem my problem, because that's exactly what that stuff does. So what we're talking about today is the fact is you want to generate some boring time in your life, because that boring got spare time allows you to recalibrate. It allows you to think, what can I do with this time that's better? You also realize how much time you're burning doing nonsense. So let's start with number one. A lot of people do this thing, and you do it. It doesn't matter if it's YouTube, doesn't matter if it's your phone. You'll go to check something out and you'll still be on there 2 hours later because it feeds. As soon as you finish one video, the next one's coming in. The same as if you're doing something else, like you're looking at some work emails late, then you think, well, I might as well clear it now. Then you're sitting there for an hour and a half that you shouldn't be doing. Stop scrolling. Don't do it. Literally, no, you're just as bad. I was listening to there's a group. I might share them because I'm actually finding quite interesting at the moment. There's there are mods, but I always forget the first name of the group, but there's a line in their song about drinking, and the fact is you can't have a pint because you have to have them all. In other words, that's the same. Like a lot of people can't just in society can't just have one beer. They have to just keep drinking. That's dopamine. That's the dopamine. Same as you scrolling on YouTube or whatever. We just deny it as if it's not a problem. It is a problem. It's a real one. It doesn't matter what social media it is. You go, oh, I don't do that on YouTube. I only do TikTok and Instagram. It's the same problem. So that's one. Just stop it. It's all right to spend a bit of time on it. But like I said, when you start realising how much time you're wasting on it, you probably think, what was the point? I mean, we have a thing within my group with the Chihuahua videos, but I normally do those when I'm sat doing something else, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll do this for 5 minutes just to cheer myself up because they're quite funny, some of them. But the reality is, like when you finish your work, maybe before a certain time of the day, you kill it. You don't do it. So part of this gets us on to the next number 2. Make your evening simple. We often try and do things that are far beyond what we'll ever do. We'll try and overcomplicate it. So, for example, if you suddenly go from, right, I'm not going to do that on the internet, but I'm going to mow the lawn, paint the spare room, go to the gym, going to start doing videos on food and cooking, and you start creating all the stuff that you're not going to do. Just keep it simple. Just like cut it down to the basics, because part of this is not actually filling that time. It's actually doing the opposite. It's freeing the time up, because when you start freeing your time up, you start to develop, right, I fancy learning the guitar. I'm going to do that an hour a day. But if you start going, I'm going to do the guitar, I'm going to do the piano, it's just noise. What you're trying to do is replace one dopamine with another one. Don't. Slow it all down first. So start simple. Maybe putting a bit of structure in there. Maybe just starting off with, right, after 5 o'clock, I'm putting the phone in the office. After 5 o'clock, if you like here, I live in a shared house. I put the phone in the car. You know, maybe something, if you can get distracted from it, that's an ideal one. Not in Northampton, mind. My actual solution is after 5 o'clock, all the notifications are muted. I can't hear my phones after 5. I've got to physically look at them. That stops that pinging and that where you're constantly looking where it's going, oh, there's a new YouTube video and all that other stuff that you don't actually want. So the next one is start creating a shutdown routine. As I was saying, you've got to create some activities that have some worth, but maybe better off starting off with clearing your time from stuff that distracts you. And the first thing is recognize it. Is it TV? Is it mobile phone? Is it both? Is it being on a group with all your mates from, I don't know, the football club, I suppose? Let's pick a football club where everyone just sits and sends each other memes and stuff. Like I said, I do that, but even that, the guys that were in that group probably noticed I've been quite quiet lately. Because I normally do that, like I said, between other things. I'm not actually just doing that. It's normally just to switch off for 10 minutes. Like, for example, I've been doing a college course, so you do so many questions and you're just like, oh, I want a break for 20 minutes. Where did we get to? Yeah, so you shut down routine. 5 o'clock. Phones go on silent automatically. Most phones have got settings for that already. The TV. Do you want to watch TV for an hour just to catch up on the day? Then kill it. Not doing 3 hours. What time are you having your dinner? What time do you set to go to bed? Just create some structure that's the same every day. hence the boring piece. The other thing I do, which I've been doing more of, as you probably know, I've got more and more into my music lately. That's because I recognise I drifted a bit when I went down my career route for a long time. And when I say a long time, I'm talking over a decade. I love music, but I just let it go to the side to focus on business. I don't regret it, but now I need to reframe everything because I've got my certificates and I can actually just do stuff outside of work now. I've got my time back. So what you want to do is swap that screen time, whether it's that thing or on your phone, music, reading, piano, guitar, or doing something in the community. No, I'm not promoting litter picking and stuff like that. let's keep it simple to start with. Start with small stuff. If you end up thinking I'll do that every Saturday and help the community in the park, I'll go there with a little picker and pick all the rubbish up because the council don't do it. That's up to you. But start small. Music, you should already have it. Reading, I'm sure you've got a book. Piano and guitar, they're good for developing your skills and also keeping the mind and hands active. It's good for long term. You could also put cookery in there as well, which I'm going to cook tomorrow, I think. The whole point is you're moving forward. You're trying to fill the time with positive stuff that is much more, A, it's less stimulating, but B, you're actually developing skills with it at the same time. When you listen to music, you develop your knowledge of the music. You probably expand what you're listening to, and then at the same time, you may get into it in other ways. Like I say, you start learning musical instruments. You start finding a passion in there somewhere that you become embedded with, which gives you something outside of your work environment. That's a very positive thing for yourself. Next one would be create things as a treat. Like I says, if you're cutting everything back, because it could be, like I said, the pint scenario. So if you sit and watch an episode of something, you may be one of those people that if the next episode's there, you watch it and you watch it and you watch it. So you end up watching 6 episodes back to back. So if you're one of those, you swap that with you can watch 1 episode and whatever it takes to do it, you only watch 1 episode. So for example, I've got timers for the lamps here. If I was that way inclined, I would set the timer and it would switch the TV off. It's a treat. It's not for you to sit there and just do that all night. No. Same with video gaming. The same with video gaming. Because people know, if you know me, I only play, currently I play 2 games. One game I've only been playing for less than a year, and the other game I've been playing the same game for probably 5 years. All mine are very strategy orientated. So one's Railway Empires, and the other one's is it the Russian Republic or something like that it's called. But even that, I know I play them on a weekend, but I'll explain that in a minute when we get there. There's other things in this, which is why I'll bring up why I do that sometimes. Recognize the difference between being tired and being drained. Tired is when you've overworked, you've had too much on your plate, you've had long days. That's tired. Being drained is overstimulation, too much screen time, staying up late, whatever you're doing. It's non-productive, and at the same time, it's draining you inside. It's probably taking years off your life. I'm not a doctor, but it's not healthy, is it? Let's be honest. So recognize it's okay to feel tired because of something that's causing it, in the sense of you've got a double shift this week, and you know, thank goodness it's Saturday. As soon as you go to bed Friday night, you're sleeping till lunchtime. There, cause and effect. What's causing you to be tired? It's work. What's causing you to be drained? Wasting your time on the Xbox till 2 in the morning, playing gaming tournaments 5 nights a week. Yeah, you've got no revenue or anything off it. All you're doing is frustrating others, like your parents or your partner, because you're becoming addicted to something that shouldn't be your main focus in life. Next one is make rules you can follow. One of the key things we do as human beings, as I said earlier, is we overdo things. So I've put a couple of things in here for me, because this is what I'll be doing. I mean, I already do some of this, but I'm reining it in a little bit because I've had a lot of stuff going on, which I can't talk about half of it, but it means I work a lot longer than I should be. And I'm starting to rein that in because we're getting to the end of it, so I don't need to be putting the same level of commitments in. So the first thing, like if you finish at 5 p.m, phone's in another room. That's it. Or switch them off. If it's work phone and you're not critical of business, in other words, it's not your responsibility, switch your phone off. Or as I say, put the auto settings that they go on silent after 5 o'clock. 8 p.m, no computer. So you've got between 5 and 8 to do whatever you want to do. After 8 o'clock, you've got to start your wind down. So for me, it'd be like maybe a couple of hours on computing, but even that, I've got to be honest, I've got bored lately, so I'm not even spending the hours I used to on computing. In bed by 10. Simple routines. Only 3 things to do and remember. So you start structuring your life because you've got 3 hours between 5 till 8. What's that, 5? Yeah, so you've got from 5 to 8 where you can't use the phone and could do something else. From 8, no computer. So it may be a case of from 5 till 8, it's your phone, your computer, and whatever else you want to do. Your TV show, and doing whatever you need to do, go shopping, do all that sort of stuff. And then by 8 o'clock, you're starting to wind down. Because by 8 o'clock, you're off the computer and you're starting to prepare for reading your book, doing the other stuff that's positive activities. You're taking yourself into a routine where you're slowing everything down. You know, it sort of steps down over time. One of the last things I want to say though is it's not one step, and it's not going to be easy, and you're going to fail some weeks. You're going to have stuff that throws curveballs. You know, for example, you end up going to a work do and then still having to pick up on work, which then throws a couple of days out. You're still going to have people turn up, knock up your door, want to come out for, do you want to go at the pub, all that sort of stuff. But the whole point is, when you can, drop it back into the routine. I do recommend a whiteboard. You probably can't read half the stuff on mine, because even if you could, it wouldn't make any sense to you, because even that bit, there's about 7 things going on in there. Because they're just like a memory jog for me. That's like a bullet point to me on many different things. So you wouldn't be able to understand what most of this is. Even that bottom one, I'll explain what that one is. That's the PayPal phone number for Spain. Like I said, it's random. But I wanted to do this video because it is important, because I do think a lot of the stuff going on out there, it is draining for a lot of people. I think it's affecting a lot of people's judgments, the way they are. I was just watching a video about mental health with it was the guys that do Movember. Is it Movember? It's the one where it's Movember for the mustaches. Yeah, so it's like it was them and the Lads Bible. We're doing a mental health thing. You've got to understand, There's weird crap that's happened to everybody over the years because they've tried to change everything. So a lot of the way people think has been manipulated, because there's a reason a lot of guys weren't emotional and in touch with their feelings, because me personally, I believe they're women's traits. I also believe that nearly 90% of psychology is now female, which gives a dominance of deciding what's right and wrong. The output is we're seeing a lot of guys that are being told to be in touch with their feelings. At the same time, you get contradictory from people like the Andrew Tate side. So you've got like that. It can be a bit, not overwhelming, it's just people are bloody missing direction. Hence, I'm more about traditional. Let people do what they want to do. Let people understand what they want to understand. Don't keep telling everybody what to do all the time. Matt, you just did it with this video. Yeah. Well, if you don't like the video, don't do it. I'm not your dad. I just try to help people where I can. And I was, like I said, I was just going to bed myself. And then I thought, that's a practical video that I think is important, because I've seen the effects when people cause sleep deprivation to themselves as well. It's not nice. They may be underrated because anyway, you can research that stuff. But I know some people it's really badly affected, because it has lots of knock-on effects and can cause some serious problems for some people. So my view is, learn to make time for yourself. You know, people overcomplicate it by calling it well-being. They overcomplicate it by calling it, what's that, the old meditation. It's literally just sitting there. That's it. It's a stillness. Clear your mind. But for the majority of people, that's overcomplicated, because if you're like me, there's always something going on. So my clearing my mind is quite simply sitting on the bed, eyes closed, listening to some music. I just don't have thoughts in my head, but if I switch the music off, my head gets busy what I need to do next. So why I like music, why music's important. It's yeah. But that's it for tonight, guys. That's 22 minutes. That's a long video for just talking about something simple like doing nothing. Take care.